Alright guys, today we wanted to take a minute to talk about our 2022 saddle setup. Decided to go with a little bit of a change this year and go with the Cruzr XC. Pretty much all last year we ran the tethered Phantoms, and I gotta say I was super happy with it, had no complaints until I put this thing on. This saddle is a one-piece saddle that's got a built-in panel on it so you can expand it. It's kind of a hybrid between a one-piece and a two-piece all together, and I gotta say so far I'm really liking this thing, and I'm excited to spend some more time in it this year. Really, all in all, it feels like home. It's got a lot of similarities with what we ran last year, but it's a big step up and a giant improvement from it. On the side, I'm running their new saddlebag. So far, this has been about perfect. It's the perfect size, not too big, not too small. You've got two nice pockets on the side, which are about perfect to keep anything in. Wind checkers, I usually keep my grunt tube on the side right there. It's real handy, I can get to it very fast. Inside of here, on this left side, I always keep my lineman's belt. I keep it girth hitched on the side all the time so it's ready to go. And pull that out, clip it in, I'm ready to climb. Still have a ton of room on the inside with it. Usually keep a limb saw in there, just handy to get to. And then down in the bottom, I keep my back band. If you're sitting all day, this thing can make a world of difference just to alleviate some of that pressure you're getting on your back. One of the really nice things about this saddle is you've got a few different sizes to choose from. We found in the tethered that a lot of the times we'd be a little bit in between sizes on a bunch of them. I'm 6'2", 200 pounds. That size fit me pretty decent, but I was still having a hard time getting it cinched down exactly how I wanted it. Zach that hunts with is a little bit smaller guy. He was really having to cinch that tether down to get it to fit his waist real well. The Cruzr is available in 3 sizes. They've got a size 1, which covers 28 to 33 inches. I'm running the size 2, which covers 34 to 38. And then for your bigger guys, they do have that size 3, which runs on up from a 38 to a 42 waist. So they've got all those size ranges covered when it goes through. I'm usually in that 32 to 34 inch waist size, and that number 2 fits me perfectly. We found that most of us fit in that range. Zach, I think, is running the number 1, and I think he's pretty happy with the size on it so far. On the front of the saddle, you do have an Amstel bridge. This thing's really nice and it's fully adjustable, so you can set it to the lengths that you want. We'll talk a little bit more about it when we get up in the tree. That's something I mess with a ton. I run a little bit shorter bridge than most people, so I really like having that adjustable bridge. On the sides, you've got 2 Persix knots, which allows you to adjust exactly where you want it. It's unreal how much that'll change the tension on your actual hips when you're up there. It can make a world of difference in comfort. We liked the system Tethered came out with last year on that Phantom, where you had the balls sewn into it, but I found usually I was looking for a spot in between where those balls were and couldn't ever really find the perfect spot for it. They'd also like to slip off and always wanted to go up high. With this Persix knot setup, you can dial it in exactly where you want it and keep it there the entire time, and it hadn't moved on me yet, so I really like that. They've got high quality buckles on this one. We really have appreciated those so far. They're not loud, they're quiet. You go through, you can snap them on in the tree if you need to, and they're not making a big click. One of the big things that I've really liked about this so far is they put those same buckles down on the leg straps. It drove me up the wall with the Tethered, having those hook systems, having to go into the loop. You could hardly get it in there. It was a pain to do every time, and I found myself just leaving it hooked up the entire time and actually stepping through my saddle every time, which wasn't terrible during the summertime. When it got into winter and we had bulkier clothes on, it kind of drove me up the wall doing that. So I really like having those buckles on that leg strap. The other big change we made this year is we're going with their Seeker platform. This thing is a game changer, I've got to say. When I first got my hands on it, I was worried about the size of it. I do a lot of packing in when I'm going, carrying a bunch of equipment with me, and I thought it may be a little bit too big to suit my style, but I really like this thing. I think they hit the sweet spot between like an XL giant platform and then like say a smaller like Predator style platform. The big thing they did with it, which is really ingenious, is this slope front. I can't say enough how much I really like this thing. I'm a big leaner, stand up most of the time when I'm up in the tree, and on any straight fronted platform I always find myself putting my heels right there, and the arch of my foot will dig in on that little corner and it'll drive me up the wall after a while when I'm sitting a long time. That little drop is just perfect just to cup the back of your heel, and you get 0 foot fatigue out of this platform. I can't say enough about how much I really like that so far. With my saddle setup, I usually run everything off my EXO. A lot of the deer I'm killing is back and we're cutting them up anyway, so I like having the frame pack plus going through and having a little bit more room to carry extra camera equipment and gear. It's kind of handy, and I don't mind the bulk when I'm up in the tree. This is how I run everything set up. Still running the old Hawk heliums for the time being. We're hoping to make a little bit different switch this year. Just waiting on some products to come out still. This is where I was worried about that Seeker platform being a little bit too big, but it turned out to be the perfect size to fit in with my setup, and I can still keep everything clipped in there. So I usually run with that when I leave the truck. I'll throw everything on. I go ahead and throw my saddle on at the truck and hike in with it every time. When I first got this one on, I noticed I'd feel a bunch right on the bottom side of this saddle where you've got that little bit of extra material. I found that if I clip the leg straps on the back when I'm hiking, it's completely comfortable. Roll so I don't have any issues with that. I clip them in when I get to the base of the tree, and then that extra little bit of material is actually what makes this thing so comfortable. Once I get to the tree, I'll go through and I'll start unpacking everything. So I keep everything set up, ready to roll. So I'll go through, throw my leg straps on first. Like I said, those are super quiet buckles. You can snap those in if you are setting up right on top of a bedding area. You're still easy to get in, super quiet with those and not have any issues. Next, I'll grab my platform. So just keep that buckled in on the outside. Everything comes out right there. And this is where my little bottom buckle comes into play. I've just got that with 550 cord just looped on there with just a standard buckle. I'll grab a hold of that like this and go around, and I've got the other version of that buckle right here on my back. So I get that clipped in, and that's where that rides. It just depends on how many sticks I'm running with that day. Sometimes I carry 4. A lot of times I'm just carrying 2 with me. These have a Versa button on them, and I'll just I've got a little loop of 550 here on the side, do a wrap here, go through, let that hang. If I need a second one to go up with me, I've got another loop on this side, just a quick double loop on top of that and turn. And those hangs, I've had no issues with those. A lot of guys run an extra carabiner on that. That's just been super quiet for them. There's not a lot of clang to get into it or do anything with, and it's really fast. Once I get up here and I'm set, I'm ready to roll and put my platform in. Like I said, I just keep that buckle on the back. Just reach behind me, just quickly unbuckle that and roll through here. And one of those things that I do set up originally, these little furniture stoppers, are nice to take any little cling off. So that opens up real super quietly and rolls through. I'll get my platform set where I want it, usually about right here. Reach around. You'll usually want to have to take and turn your platform just a touch to get it tight on that loop. And then just a quick push down and you'll get a good bite out of it. Usually have to take and loosen my lineman's belt up just a hair before I make my transition to get it around. Tighten that up real quick. Then I'll settle in. Always keep my tether rope on the side over here. Take and pull that out. And that's usually the only thing I have living in the side. I may keep some limb snips on there, and then I usually keep a couple bow hooks ready to roll too. But same process, just reach up and around, find your loop. And roll through and lock it in. I usually keep a lower tether line than most people. A lot of people like it up here. I like it lower and out of my way. It gives me more freedom with my shots, and I'll adjust that some depending on what I've got going on. But next you want to take, that's where that adjustable bridge really comes in handy. I don't run it all the way out. I'll run it usually about halfway and clip in. Always remember to lock your carabiner back up and get it set. And you're ready to lean. This is where you can get some adjustability with it and kind of find where it fits your needs. Like I said, this is about my sweet spot. Sometimes I'll run it a hair bit lower or a touch higher, just depending on the particular tree I'm sitting in and what I need, but I'm usually pretty comfy right in that little spot. Usually right there, and that's about perfect for me. This is where the saddle really can make a huge game changer. With most other brands, you're kind of stuck with everything from that point. You don't have much adjustability to go with. With this one, I can take and expand at this point. So I've had all that material out of my way the entire time while I'm climbing, but I can move my pressure points all the way super high up my back and down low on my legs. You'll find a lot of the times with just a single panel saddle that you'll have a lot of pressure down low on your legs or high on your back at one point, depending on where you've got your bridge set. This kind of hits that sweet spot in between where it's not quite as big as a 2-panel, but it hits it perfectly and just kind of cradles you. This thing, I think I compare it most to sitting in a hammock is really what it feels like. You get super cozy up here. So a lot of the times I'll sit on my side. I can lock down in this one, just sit like this, and you're just chilling in a seat. When you're up here, it's super comfy. You can work different ways for guys that like to kneel and run a knee pad. It's super handy like that. I said most of the time I find myself standing, and that's where I really like that Seeker platform. You can see my heel, where before I'd usually be bit into the side and it hanging off like that, and the arch of my foot would start killing me. With this little downturned lip on the edge, it just hugs your heel perfectly, and you can stand all day without any issues. Once I'm up here and set, like I said, I've kind of got all my shot angles I need to cover from right here. I'm left-handed, so my predominant shot would be coming across like this. I'm good with it. If I need to go wide, one thing I really like is they added these little knobs all over, and it really bites into your foot a ton. So if I need to get all the way over here, come through and make a shot, I've got a ton of bite on that platform to do so and go through the other way. A lot of the times you'll end up with deer behind you, and that's one thing on this bigger platform is nice. You can take and wrap and turn like this, and then we're just standing in a tree stand. I shot my deer in Ohio like this last year, and I was on a smaller platform, didn't have as much room to work with, and you felt like you're about to fall off the entire time. With this bigger platform, you've got a ton of room to work around. You can really adjust and keep everything you need. You've got all the different adjustments you would need from just shooting regularly in a yard or a tree stand, but you can do it on this platform. And like I said, this thing at I think 14.5 inches really hit the sweet spot on what you need to do all the shot angles with. Overall, I couldn't be happier with the Cruzr XC. It's lightweight, it's quiet, it's comfortable, and having that ability to expand those panels out really does set it apart from any other saddle that I've sat in to date. I really like how they added the molly loops around the edge to give you two different options on that, with one being loose and one being a more standard tight sewn molly. Gives you a good option to be able to clip any carabiners on that you need or any extras that you need to hang from the saddle. When you combine the XC with the Seeker platform, I think you really do get that perfect deadly combo for those guys who are looking for something that's lightweight and quiet, but it'll still give them that all-day comfort to keep them in the woods as long as possible. If you're in the market for a new saddle or a new platform this fall, I'll definitely give the Seeker and the XC a look by Cruzr.